Sales Babble is brought to you by Outreach. This is the Sales Babble Podcast, episode 377, Marketing Hacks for Salespeople, an interview with Kieres.
Welcome to Sales Babble, the podcast that shares selling secrets for non-sellers. And now your host, Pat Helmers.
Hello, Sales Babblers. This is Pat Helmers, and probably one of the most confounding dilemmas a salesperson bumps into is the challenge of cold outreach and converting that into a scheduled sales call. Now, if you don't have a full-time marketing department doing lead gen for you, you're on your own. So what's a seller to do? Kieres is a career B2B sales professional with over 20 years experience in the high-tech space. And in this episode, Kieres shares his marketing hacks for salespeople. He draws upon his experience selling an ERP, CRM, and business management software, and he walks us through his LinkedIn email campaigns, how he sets appointments and closes prospects on a free trial. But before we do that, here is a message from our sponsor. Today's podcast is brought to you by Outreach.io. Outreach helps sales reps to not only close deals, but to close more deals faster. Their platform offers a suite of automation, workflows, efficiency tools, and insights that help teams engage with leads more effectively. Outreach is the #1 sales engagement platform on the market today for a reason. It's a must-have software solution for any revenue team looking to optimize and scale their business. Visit the link in the show notes to schedule an exclusive demo with Outreach today. Marketing hacks for salespeople. And with no further ado, let's get to it. Welcome, Kieres. Are you ready to babble?
You betcha, yes.
Excited to have you here on the podcast. We gave this a go about a week ago, but you were actually evacuated from your building during the interview, so we had to decide to restart here.
I figured I had a valid excuse for that one. So
yeah, that was valid indeed. I got your LinkedIn pulled up here. You are a sales professional at CAD Makers. What do you guys sell?
Yeah, we sell a variety of things. Basically, into 3 categories. We sell two SaaS products that are geared towards the construction sector. And then we also sell a professional services for helping companies design and do different types of modeling and simulations for buildings.
And I'm assuming these are like enterprise sales, right? You're selling to other companies, B2B companies.
Yes.
And it's probably just not a single person making the decision.
Correct. Yeah. There's a lot of moving parts typically. With my product, I'm specifically focused on the production tracking system, which is kind of like an ERP sale where it's a complex sale requiring many moving parts and different people involved.
Where do you find your leads? How do you do lead generation?
Yes, so we have a marketing team, and so we get leads from a variety of sources. But personally, I'm kind of my own mini marketing machine. I do lead generation through LinkedIn, and also I do some email campaigns as well.
I want to dig into this.
Great.
So you don't have a marketing team giving you a lot of leads. First off, you do a lot of LinkedIn prospecting. How does that work? What's your process?
Yeah, so these days, it's good to have digital fluency, and social selling is really the trend, as especially in the state of affairs. Basically, the cold calling can be effective maybe 1 or 2% of the time, so it can be pretty laborious and stressful. However, I have a process personally where I basically adopted the social selling method via LinkedIn, and I'm a Sales Navigator subscriber. So basically, I do my own marketing and lead generation online. So what I do is I leverage LinkedIn, and I target very specific prospects that I wish to basically solicit. And what I'll do is I'll have a spreadsheet for tracking my pending versus accepted requests in LinkedIn. And the conversion rate is quite high. It's usually 20% or higher for accepted versus pending. Yeah.
Okay, so you got a spreadsheet and you reach out to connect with them. And if they connect, you keep track of who you're connected to through the spreadsheet. You don't use LinkedIn to do that.
Correct. I use a couple of tools. So I use LinkedIn, a spreadsheet, and HubSpot, which is our CRM system. And it's basically, I mean, it's not super elegant, but it's a way for me just to track who accepted. I have some cadences, so I'll have like an introductory cadence, then I'll have a second wave cadence, so that after they accepted my LinkedIn invite, I have a message that I would send them. But I do try to personalize it as much as I can, because that's very important. People don't care really how special you are on LinkedIn. Your buyers really don't care about if you're A plus student or wherever. So basically, I believe that it's important to be hyper personalized and really try to make it about them.
So what's an example of your cadence? Could you give us a concrete example? Like what do you say when you reach out to connect with them?
Yeah, so I'll say, I don't have it committed to memory, but I have kind of a list of templates I use, and I'll utilize those templates and just kind of modify it based on the prospect. So, I don't have a specific example.
That's a hard part, I think, for people struggle with. They're like, well, what do I say? I'm looking at this person with this title, right? And
Right.
I don't know what title you're looking for, but people who use CAD, right? So you look for that title, right? And you connect with them. And what would you say? You would say,
Yeah, it's for me personally, I'm more targeting the middle, like basically the product managers or fabrication managers. I'm not targeting the design managers. My counterpart is. So I'm kind of focused on people that fabricate components for construction, and such as building exteriors and modular parts, etc. So typically, I would engage the production manager and ask them if they're having any challenges with their current systems, what are they using. Just try to engage in an open, curious conversation.
right. And I kind of get that. I think where the tough part is why would someone want to connect with you? What does that first message look like when you ask them to connect with you?
Yeah, the first message is very high level. Like, it's not even about selling. I keep it's a soft approach. So I'm not pitching anything. I'm just saying, I understand you're an industry professional, forward thinking person in the marketplace. May we connect, right? Just kind of a
Yep.
very generic thing. And then
I
they'll see
like
my
that.
profile, and it's geared very much towards them, right? I don't try to be a braggosaurus about myself. It's just about them, and my headline is about helping them.
I got it. I got it. The second thing you said that another channel that you use email. How does that work?
Yeah, so we have we do a lot of A/B testing in the field, because quite often, email is such a dynamic thing, right? Like, one subject line is popular for a week, and then people catch on to it and then ignore it. So you have to really constantly change it, right? It's like a evolving thing. So we do testing with our team, and we'll actually with our sales department, marketing team, we'll send out an email, like a draft email internally, and kind of get feedback, and then we'll do some testing on the actual emails and see how it works in a live situation.
How do you get these email addresses?
So we currently subscribe to some marketing data products such as Apollo.
Mm,
Apollo is kind of like your Zoom Info, or it's similar to that.
right. Interesting. So let's say, so then what happens? Let's say you find somebody who says, I might be interested in this. What's your next step?
Yeah. So essentially, what I do is try to stimulate interest and be curious and genuine. So what I try to do is just secure a quick chat, like a quick Zoom chat is ideal, and no commitment, no high pressure, right? Just just a quick chat, and that usually kind of opens it up, and then we'll do it. It's like a mini discovery call. We just kind of go through a bit of a Q&A and find out about their current situation and their goals.
So there's like three paths you could have gone. I'm thinking like you could do a phone call with them, you could do a Zoom call with them, or you could have met them in person. Because of the pandemic, the last one's not as likely. Although that might loosen up this year.
Yeah.
How'd you come to make a decision that you want to do a Zoom or versus a call?
Well, I like Zoom because you can at least see some body language, right? It's if their arms are crossed and they seem kind of uninterested, you'll kind of see that on Zoom. Or if they're not looking at the camera and they're multitasking, right? There's kind of indications there. I like that. On the phone, you can hear some inflections and tones and subtleties, but on Zoom, at least you get a bit of a visual.
What if they don't turn on their camera?
Yeah, that's true. Some people are just camera shy or whatever, or private.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they're more hands off. I was on I had a sales call the other day. There was 3 people on the call. None of them turned on their camera. I felt like they didn't want to build. I couldn't build rapport easily. Yeah, that's so easy. Yeah. So what happens during that call?
Yeah, so the discovery call is essentially just a way to, like I said, simulate interest and find out more about their situation, and then try to advance it to the next step, which is a demo. And the demo is typically a 20 to 30-minute session, and we do a bit of a walkthrough of our solution.
Do you give the demos? Do you have a sales engineer give the demos?
So I participate, but I don't actually deliver the demos. It's done by our pre-sales technical team. So I have assistants there.
You have assistants there. How does that work? How do you guys? How do the two of you partner when it comes to that? What's maybe you can walk me through that process.
Yeah, so I work closely with our technical team, and we're always, we're very very much collaborative, right? We have we have very candid feedback with each other, and which I like. It was kind of disarming at first because we like to share feedback to help improve, and sometimes it's not feedback, something you don't want to hear per se, but it is the right intention is to try to help your sales situation, or just trying to help us succeed in general, because we all have common goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very collaborative process, and we work closely with our team and make sure that we're all on the same page.
Yeah. What kinds of mistakes have you made in the past up to now in this part of the sale? Where have you lost a deal and you came to some realization, some knowledge like, oh, that's not the right way of doing it. This is the right way of doing it.
Yeah, there's a bit of trial and error, of course. I'm far from perfect, by the way. So I've made some, it's a learning lesson, of course. I remember specifically when I started with this company in February, I believe that I was perhaps trying to be a little bit too technical in my language, not speaking like I was talking. It was more, too analytical, I believe. And I've learned just to kind of loosen up and be more conversational, just chat like you're talking to someone, right?
Yeah, because in some regards, they really don't care about the technology, right? They just got problems they want to solve.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. So I'm trying to avoid the technobabble, so to speak. And with some people, it's okay, but manufacturing managers, perhaps, they're working in the shop, and they don't want to be have this long conversation about technology. So yeah, you just want to get to the point and really highlight how you can help them.
Yeah. How does when your sales engineers give the demo, do they use PowerPoint or do they just hop right into the software?
We use combination of, so we use a PowerPoint slide deck in addition to an actual do an actual live demo with our. So we'll open up a demo environment. It's a browser based interface, and yeah, so we walk through the whole software and how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, and what is the end goal of this meeting?
Yeah, so we really want to show the value and also demonstrate the value proposition, the solution, provide pricing, and hopefully we get a trial. So a trial would be a 2-month, no no cost type of situation. So once we get them in a trial, we want to get them hooked. It's kind of like the puppy dog close where you give someone a puppy and they can't
Mm-hmm.
give it back, right? So that's the intent.
But people don't want to do trials, do they?
There is time, and obviously they have to be committed, and there's skin in the game, right? So
Yep.
so if they don't want to do the trial, obviously that's a good qualifier up front.
Yeah. I know that's the thing. There's an investment on their end. It may not be dollars necessarily, but it certainly is time, and time is money. Isn't that what they say?
Absolutely, yes. It's a
Yeah.
non-renewable resource, right?
It is a non-renewable resource today. So now we're kind of getting down to the end here. How do you close these people?
Yeah, so typically at the end of the trial, we will ask for a subscription to the actual solution, which would be either month to month or an annual upfront commitment, and then we would actually engage in the full project.
Yeah. What do you think makes selling difficult these days? What do you think is because selling is changing. The internet has certainly changed selling.
Absolutely.
Where do you see the challenges today?
You just the human to human aspect. I miss some of the face to face stuff in the field, and getting that something about just face to face in person where you can build that kind of rapport. Yeah, that part is hard, and it seems a little artificial now in terms of just building the relationship. So, and with my specific industry, construction, sometimes they're not early adopters per se. So, some of them aren't super technical savvy in terms of technology, so we have to kind of help them and really guide them through the process.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. What do you do when you wake up in the morning and you're not really feeling like selling? What kind of practice?
Yeah, those days happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that.
What practices have you put in place to keep yourself on course?
Yeah, so I've learned to really self-motivate, using either exercise or I'll listen to motivational podcasts, etc. Just something to get my mind, because sales is a lot of it's a mindset, right? And you have to have a good attitude. So if I'm not feeling 100%, I'll go for a run or do some weights or something, and maybe listen to something inspirational, just to snap me out of that funk, right?
Right. If you were to give the listeners one piece of advice they could take action on, what would that be?
I would say be consistent. That's huge in sales. If you want to, hit your numbers, it's all about it's about activity and other things, but it's about being consistent every day, making improvements, and consistently, achieving and making progress is really the key thing for me.
Yeah, I agree. And if people wanted to reach out to you and connect with you, what's the best way of doing that?
Yeah, the best way is via LinkedIn, and just search for my name, Curtis Kieres, on LinkedIn, and you'll find my profile.
Yeah, I got it. You will indeed. I've got it right here on my screen right now. What else am I missing? Is there anything else you wanted to share with us before we move on?
Really, I would say that I'm a fan of your podcast, obviously, and I really appreciate the time today. It's been always insightful to listen to a lot of your speakers, and I'm really quite thrilled to be on this podcast today.
Oh, it's an honor to have you, Curtis. It really is. Well, thank you again for babbling here on Sales Babble.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.
Sales Babble is sponsored by Habanero Media, a podcasting agency that produces B2B interview-based podcasts. A podcast is the premier way for a business to boost its brand, authority, influence, and trust. With podcasts, companies grow revenue by meeting influencer and prospects through the interview process. If you've ever thought about starting a podcast to grow your business, go to habaneromedia.net for advice, help, and classes on how to start a B2B podcast. That's habaneromedia.net with an H. What's great about Curtis is that he's the real deal. A quota-carrying sales professional who's facing all the same challenges that you face every single day. To connect with Curtis, you can find links to him and his company at salesbabble.com. You can also find links to our sponsor Outreach and their new Kaya Intelligent and Virtual Assistant. Please check it out. If you've not done so already, like, share, and subscribe to the pod and never miss an episode. Until next Tuesday, take care and have a highly successful and a profitable selling day.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Babble podcast. Find us at www.salesbabble.com.
This is a production of Habanero Media.